Okay, this is my client. She's very low maintenance, and we're going to be doing a blonding slash gray blending on her. Okay, so after our consultation, my client let me know she really likes the approach that we've been taking. She likes to be bright, she likes to be blonde. I am going to use all of that and go with what we basically have been doing, except as you saw, we've been really just doing a partial, so we're going to add some brightness through the bottom of her hair as well in the nape. And then we're going to keep that brightness on top, cover the grays, and she really likes the ribbons of blonde and brown, so we're going to keep doing that. So formula wise, we've been using the same formula for her root coverage, and she really likes it. I really like it too, especially because it's the Igora Color 10. This line processes in 10 minutes. I love it. I haven't used it like on all my clients or anything, but for as great as she is and the shade that we do, 7-1, I get really good coverage. It's worked fantastic for gray blending, so I intend to keep doing that. And then I'm also going to be mixing up my Redken Flash Lift. Love this stuff. I really get a nice lift with it. I'm going to be using 20 volume with that and 10 volume with my Igora Color 10. This is like my favorite bowl to use because the one side's stained, so I always know what side I put color in. So I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up. Typically, what we have been doing, she requires a lot more color for her, for the color itself. But because we aren't doing as much, I'm gonna mix up about half of what we normally use and see how far I get, because I would rather need more than waste some. So I'm literally just gonna take this bad boy, weigh it out, equal parts. I like to do 1 to 1.5 ratio for my bleach, so that way I get a nice spreadable consistency without really dulling the potency of the bleach. And then I'm also going to be mixing some Olaplex Bonder into my lightener to help with the overall health of her hair. Doing my large bowl of lightener, which is 50 grams. I don't like to mix up more than that because I really don't want to let the bleach oxidize, so I want to be using the bleach as quick as possible. So I have found that 50 grams at most is a good consistency for me to mix up at because of my foiling time with her. I know that this bleach won't be sitting for too long and lose its potency, and then I've only mixed up about 25-30 grams of the actual color itself, and I'll see how far I can get with that. And our requested beverages, of course. So I like to section the hair kind of how it falls, and her part in the back, it breaks right there, as you can see on the right side of the head. So I wanted to have my back section a little bit higher than that, so that when I go to foil up there and it's styled, dried, and finished, the hair does not have any spots in it that look like there wasn't a foil put there or there's a dark spot. But to start, I am starting in the back of the head. I had already put a couple foils a little bit lower than normal. I didn't go fully down the nape because she really only wears her hair in a low ponytail, and for her budget and time frame, we were able to do just a couple foils that were a little bit lower to brighten things up more. I'm working my way up the back of the head with horizontal sections, and I'm taking pretty thin slices. I weaved a few, but honestly, just to keep things really bright and blended, I'm taking about anywhere from like, I'd say a 1/2 inch section to a 3/4 inch section, and then I'm taking a 1/4 of an inch section from that section and putting a horizontal foil, and then I'm just going over top of the brown parts, weaving out the blonde parts that are already light enough, and I'm applying my bleach where needed. Now, lower in the head, she did have some darker spots, so I had to run the bleach all the way through the bottom for some portions, and then as I work my way up the head, my foils get increasingly tighter so that it gets brighter and brighter towards the crown of the head. I haven't put the color in between the foils yet because this color processes in 10 minutes, and although I'm going to do it in the front to give the foils extra hold and make sure that I don't have to lift those really tight, finely weaved foils in the front when the time comes, I'm not doing it in the back because the color does process very quickly. So I'm finishing working my way up the head, and then I will move on to the sides and I will finish at the top. Once I make my way to the sides, I am doing a dark root in the front to make sure that everything blends really nicely. Sometimes she does want to be a little bit brighter in the face, but just for the sake of a soft grow out, I will usually do the first fine weave on the hairline as her root color, and then I will start slicing thin foils, and I work on a diagonal because I want these pops of blonde when she pulls her hair back, and I want to make sure that the grow out is as soft as possible. Diagonals are really good for softness and for nice ribbons, which she does like that contrast. So on the top I will do horizontal foils, but on the sides I like to do diagonal so that way it doesn't get too muddled, too blonde. We still have those ribbons of depth in there, and to partner with the soft grow out, I have found it to be a really good method for her in particular. So once I get done putting those foils in, I go back through with my color and touch up the regrowth in the back of the head. I will eventually drag this down because every other appointment, maybe every couple appointments, I will just run it through her ends to give that refresh of color as it fades. It's also a slightly transparent color, I have found, possibly because of formula, and the color in 10 just might be a little bit more translucent, and so I really just wanted to run it through the ends to make sure that it was nice and vibrant and had those good pops of depth. So as you can see on the sides, went for the diagonal, did that horizontal placement on the top, and brightened that money piece up. Okay, so my client has lifted to pretty much a raw 9, definitely pushing a 10. She looks really well. And because she wants to be a little bit brighter than she has been, I'm actually going to switch up the toner a little bit. Usually I do this guy, 9,5-4, which is a beige toner. I really like it, and I mix that with 9,4, which is extra light blonde beige. But I'm going to be using 10,4 and 9,4 combination and doing equal parts with 6 volume, same brand developer, same brand, demi-permanent is the key here. If you're trying to not have any lift and just tone only, you want to make sure that it is demi or that is acidic, alkaline, and like permanent color can lift the hair, especially if you use too high of a volume. So this is volume 6. Sometimes I'll use 10 if I want to bump a little bit or have a harder deposit, but I'm using 6 volume with demi-permanent to achieve just that overall tone for my look. So it's roughly about 20 grams of each. Obviously that's 40, so I'm gonna do 40 grams of developer, and I'm gonna mix that really well to combine both those colors together. I'm gonna rinse her at the bowl, shampoo her to get all that color out, all the lightener out, and then I'm gonna apply this toner, let that sit for the full 15, maybe I'll just do 10. It kind of depends on how I'm feeling and how it looks as it's processing, but I usually don't do more than 15 minutes with this line of color. Then once her toner is done processing, don't know if this is controversial or not, I only condition, I don't shampoo. I want to really seal that color in. I will also be using a special product that I'll show you to help make that color long lasting and hold a lot better. More longevity out of the color, also helps the acidic formula do its thing by silkening the hair. I have just found, me personally, I like that approach better, so whatever works for you. So here's our raw lift. Like I said, she lifted really nicely, she always does, and we're going right in with that toner that we mixed up in the bag. I eventually let it sit for about 10 minutes, and this is the hair sealer product that I was talking about. Helps rebalance that pH, makes the hair nice and smooth, and like I stated before, I do not shampoo this out. I just rinse and condition, leaves the hair super sleek. This is our end result. As you can see, very blended, still super dimensional, and overall very light. She approved.